Hi friends, welcome back to our new video. Today in this video we will concentrate on implementing a Modbus specification related to Modbus message timing. We will be able to work our remaining Modbus function codes smoothly after this timing implementation. In this chapter we will learn three concepts. First, we will understand what Modbus RTU frame is. Second, we will understand the basics of RS-232 and its working on our microcontrollers. Next is the two timing requirements in Modbus over serial line specification and implementation guide version 1.02. They are called as inter-character timeout and inter-frame delay. Finally, we see the implementation and demo of these two above timers in our microcontroller. This slide you might remember is from chapter 1. The blocks shown is the Modbus serial line protocol data unit. We shall understand the concept of Modbus frame before we go further. A Modbus message frame starts with an address field, function code. Each of these fields are 1 byte. Then the third field is the Modbus data up to 252 bytes. This contains information like quantity of registers, starting address, and the last 2 bytes of the Modbus frame will be CRC. So these are the contents expected to be present in the Modbus frame. Start with an address field and end with the CRC field. And the size of this frame can be maximum of 256 bytes if implemented on the serial line. It is using RS-232 or RS-422, RS-485, which is popular. So till chapter 2 we were checking for the number of bytes received in the while loop continuously, and we were processing the Modbus message. Next we shall understand how the serial data is transferred from master to slave device. So here the transmission method is serial line, that is RS-232. Now here in the image shown a serial line data packet. It consists of a start bit, 8 bits of data. There is another option called 9 bits also, but we are not using that. And this is called data frame, and this is the data we are interested in. A parity bit, and finally the packet ends with a stop bit. Start bit, stop bit, parity bits are handled by the software of the respective device. We are not using any parity for serial transmission. So bit 7 of the data frame is our data bit and not a parity bit. This data frame of 8 bits is also called a character or byte. We will use these words character, byte interchangeably. So to transfer one character, there will be actually a transmission of 10 bits if the data frame length is 8 bits, or 11 bits if the data frame length is of 9 bits. Next shows the animation of serial data transfer between the master and slave device. Upper box is the Modbus master device and the lower box is the Modbus slave device. They are connected by a cable which is not shown in this slide. Inside the microcontroller we have a receive interrupt routine as shown in the program also. So this is the interrupt routine. Okay, let interrupt routine means microcontroller will jump from the normally executing programming code, means it was running some routine functions. Okay, thereafter due to the event occurred on RS-232 port, the program code will jump to this C function. Here for our development board we are using USART2, that is UART2 out of the remaining available peripherals. So that's why this interrupt C function name is named after USART2. So once interrupt occurs on this peripheral, microcontroller will jump the execution to this C function. Now in this C function code, we are saving the received byte or character to a data in array. We are using variable called data pose as an indexer to store the received character, and we are incrementing it after the data is stored in the data in array. So we will try to understand this process of transmission to receive interrupt through the same example as used in chapter 1, that is read holding registers. So here Modbus master device request data as follows. The first byte is the slave address. Here 0x11 in hex means slave address is 17. You can convert that hex to decimal on the screen. So 0x11 is shown. Next, second byte is the function code, that is function code number 3. Third and fourth byte consist of the starting address. Here the starting address is 4. This means Modbus register number 40,005. Fifth and sixth byte is the quantity of registers master is requesting from the slave. So in our case it is 4. Remaining 2 bytes are the cyclic redundancy checks calculated by the master device. Modbus master will send most significant bit. Here most significant bit means the bit to the left side of the screen, that is the slave ID. So it will be sent first to the slave device. So this value 0x11 will reach the microcontroller's USART2 pins. As so due to this a receive interrupt activates and we capture this received byte to our variable data in. In this way master sends all bytes it has to the slave device, and every time microcontrollers receive interrupt is activated, and we store all the bytes in our array variable data in. Now this receive interrupt we will implement timing considerations also in the coming slides, so as to differentiate between the correct frames and junk frames. As per Modbus specification of 1.02, the Modbus message starts with a silence, means no data for a duration of at least 3.5 characters, and the frame is set to be completed again after a silence of the same time, that is 3.5 characters. As said in the previous slide, our code was processing Modbus message based on the number of bytes and not based on the time. But after implementation this specification, our Modbus processor will be time based. We will also test previously implemented Modbus function codes to understand how this timing specification works. Let's consider a healthy transmission line by the master. Here the horizontal line represents the time and small equidistant ticks represent the time duration for transfer of one character over the serial line. We shall view this animation with respect to Modbus master. So when Modbus master sends a request for any function code, say it requested for a function code number 3 as per the example of previous slide, okay, it will start with a silence of 3.5 characters. Here silence means no data. Now this Modbus frame, here frame 1 is said to be complete at the end also if there is a silence of 3.5 characters. So the slave should wait till 3.5 character times before processing this message. We were not waiting for this time period. We were directly processing. Your master should take care that it should send the next frame only after the 3.5 character time is expired. Now Modbus master will send the next frame. Similarly, slave will wait for completion of the time and start processing of the Modbus message. This duration of 3.5 characters is called as interframe delay. Now we'll consider a situation while sending a Modbus frame. Not all characters are received immediately. Like Now till now we talk about interframe. Now we'll check about the frame itself. Like if two characters out of the 8 bytes are sent, like if we take the example of previous slide, read function, read holding register, so 8 bytes will be sent by the master to the slave. So out of that, if two characters are received on time and from third character onwards there might be a delay due to cable problem or any other condition, this delay is called inter character timeout. And as per the specification, the frame is considered healthy if Modbus characters are received within this timeout. We will understand these two timers in the next slides. These intercharacter timeouts should be less than or equal to T1 1.5 characters time and generally set as T1.5. So when intercharacter timeout occurs while receiving Modbus frame on the slave device, it should discard that frame. So on the animation, we will see that on the animation after 3.5 frame 1 is sent, okay, and there is no gap, means there is no gap of between the characters received, so this frame is set to be okay. Now the frame 2, after 3.5 delay, frame 2 is sent. There seems to be a gap in the frame, but it is still within the timeout of 1.5 characters. So Modbus slave should process frame 2 also. Now the third frame is said to be not okay because here we can clearly see that the gap between the characters is more than 1.5 characters. So Modbus slave should not process this frame. The timing character requirements are given in the Modbus specification version 1.02 for serial line. For the baud rates of 19,200 bits per second, inter-character timeout is 750 microseconds. Similarly, after 1.75 milliseconds, that is 1750 microseconds for Modbus interframe delay. Means the Modbus message shall be completed after this time delay. Please note that these timings are for baud rates greater than 90,200 bits per second, and Modbus recommends to use two independent timers for implementing T1.5 and T3.5 delays. For baud rates equal to or less than 19,200 bits per second, we can use below calculation as an example. So we considered baud rate of 19,200 bits per second. So I interpreted these seconds in microseconds. So it becomes 19,200 bits per 1 lakh microseconds. Now one character of data is equal to 10 bits. Yes, you read that right. Remember on slide 4, RS-232 consists of a start bit, then the data frame of 8 bits and a stop bit. So total packet size is worth 10 bits. So for actual transmission to occur, the device will send out 10 bits. Though the start and stop bits are not used by us, we should consider them for character transmission timing. So this way, one character on RS-232 is 10 bits. So time in microseconds to transmit one character on the serial line is represented by the formula bits per characters multiplied by 1 lakh and divided by the baud rate. Let's name this time as T1. So T1 comes to around 520.833 microseconds. Now we calculate intercharacter timeout by multiplying 1.5 with T1 and similarly interframe delay by multiplying 3.5 with T1. One more example with baud rate 9600 is shown. Here T1 time is multiplied by 1.5 and 3.5, similarly as shown in the previous slide, but on the denominator we have updated the baud rate to 9600. Now we will use the concept of receive interrupt and Modbus delays covered in the previous slides for implementing these timers. Using animation, I am trying to show how microcontroller program will execute the timers T1.5 and T3.5. So timers are configured, which is not shown on this slide. We are concentrating on the operation of the interrupt handlers. So as Modbus master transmits data, the first byte is received to the slave device. Once character is received on the USART2 port, the program enters the receive interrupt as shown in the previous slide also. We will disable all timers. This is shown by the red box. We will store the received data in data in array, and after that enable the timers again. We will do this activity till all bytes are received. We will assume that all bytes are received on time, that is before T1.5 timer expires. After the last byte is received, and as usual the timers are enabled, since there is no further data to be sent by the master, T1.5 timer will expire and its interrupt will be activated. In the timer T1.5, we will clear the indexer, that is data pose variable, and stop the timer T1.5. Else the counter of T1.5 will keep on increasing, and the interrupt T1.5 will be activated again and again endlessly. After T1.5 timer, T3.5 timer will also expire, and the interrupt of this timer also will be activated. Here in this T3.5 timer routine, we will check first recalculate the CRC of the received frame. Say suppose we received 4 bytes, so we will recalculate CRC of the received 2 bytes. Why we have subtracted 2 bytes? Because the last 2 bytes of the Modbus frame are the CRC calculated by the master, not the slave. So we will recalculate the CRC for those 2 bytes, and we will compare that CRC recalculation value with the CRC sent by the master. If they are matching, we will process the Modbus frame, else we will dispose that frame. In this way, the concepts are implemented. Now we will check. We will now implement on the STM32 IDE. I will try to show with the minimum configuration, and also test the function codes which we implemented in chapter 1 and chapter number 2.